Janakpuri Super Speciality Hospital, New Delhi. He has more than 250 paper publications, high impact national international journals, more than 60 book chapters in world renowned neurology books. He is ex editor in chief in International Journal of Epilepsy. He has published 3 Cochrane reviews. He has contributed for 1,500 MCQ for postgraduate and postdoctorate entrance for NEET pattern. Well, yes, here we would like to welcome none other than Dr. Manmohan Mendiratha.
Good morning. At the outset, I'd like to express my gratitude to the organizers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Young Scientist Conclave being held in India, to invite me to give a talk on the topic combating pandemics which have happened so far, current status and way forward. I like to once again say in different languages, the country participating in SCO, Namaskar, Salam, Niho, and Slamatis Be, etc. While giving this talk, I have no conflict of interest. I bring greetings from India and New Delhi, my city. We are living in new normal. What is new normal? We talk of virtual meeting like this is being held because physical meeting is not possible. Hybrid meetings are possible, but teleneurology, telemedicine, telecardiology is very common these days. However, in the countries where teleneurology is not practical or telemedicine is not practical, social distancing is now the cornerstone, like you can see here in hospital outpatient department, waiting area, as well as in physician-patient interaction, and in the markets, in outdoor services, everywhere. Now, plan of my talk, pandemics in the past, lessons learned, COVID-19 current situation, and way forward. Now, plague pandemic timeline. Who doesn't remember the plague pandemic which killed almost half of the world population was wiped out? Once 165 after divine, Antonine plague named after the Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius Antonian. And then the 250 AD Cyprian plague, details mentioned below. 541 AD Justinian plague, the emperor of Egypt after whom it was named. 1350, the Black Death. I'll show you a cartoon later. Responsible for death of 1/3 of the world population, possibly started in Asia. The Great Plague of London in 1665 and 1855, not very far. 165 years back, the third plague pandemic starting in China, the bubonic plague claimed 15 million victims. Now, what about the influenza pandemic timeline? You can see here, 1900 Spain. Only the women are there who are carrying the corpse for disposal. And 1889, Russian flu. Details are mentioned, 250,000 deaths happened. Now, Spanish flu, which lasted pretty long, probably originated in Spain, 40 to 50 million deaths worldwide. 1957 Asian flu H2N2, and it led to 1 to 2 million deaths worldwide. Then H3N2 originated in Hong Kong and 700,000 deaths. H1N1 2001 originated in Mexico, very large number of deaths, 151,000 to 575,000 deaths worldwide. And this is a reference of from Journal Infectious Disease Developing Countries 2009. Now let us see next, how did we also talk of now vaccination? And you can see here, the other pandemics are like 11th century Hansen disease, 1857 cholera, and you can see here number of cholera deaths here in Copenhagen. And then Smallpox, 1870 to 1874, Edward Jenner, to whom we all are indebted, an English physician in 1796 took fluid from cowpox blister and scratched it into the skin of James Phipps, an 8-year-old boy. This was the beginning of the concept of vaccination. And who doesn't know 1981 HIV epidemic of a very infectious disease? And then comes what we have learned the lesson now. Let us see. Better understanding of the origin, causative agent, and epidemiology, early institution of public health measures and dissemination of correct information, need for interdisciplinary studies and research, different countries, intra-regional, inter-regional synergy, protecting the vulnerable, curtail travel and trade. What is happening these days? We are confined to our homes. Be prepared for recrudescence, reinfection in COVID-19 in particular, a myth or reality. Post-pandemic surveillance, data sharing, and registration of accurate data. Now, lessons learned. Let us see the current day PP and this PP kit during the plague time, the beak doctor, famous beak doctor, and then this comes in the Spanish flu. Even at that time, wear a mask or go to jail. That is what is written on the face, on the chest of this lady on the gown. And now this is current day, mask your face. And this is again quarantine. And you will see this. What is this? This is from Venice, where the ships were. This is Charles de Lorme, who adopted this dress in 1619. And the beak was filled with certain substance so that the stench doesn't come. And then this one, the quarantine word, the practice of quarantine, as we know, it began during the 14th century in an effort to protect coastal cities from plague epidemic. So ships arriving in Venice were quarantined for 40 days. And the word comes from Italian word called quaranta giorni, which means 40 days they will stay in the coast and don't enter the city so that there is no spread of the disease. That's by rodents, that's plague. Now, what is the current situation of this? Now we can see here the current situation in America, Europe, Southeast Asia, East Mediterranean, Africa, Western Pacific. 24 million here. Europe, 16 million. Southeast Asia, 10 million, out of which almost 9 million are in India. And understanding the science of SARS-CoV-2. This is from genus called beta coronavirus, subgenus Serpicovirus, diameter of approximately 60 to 140 million nanomillion, plus ssRNA enveloped. And this is the recent reference, and this is the electron microscopic view of the coronavirus. Middle East respiratory syndrome is a viral respiratory disease which originated from Saudi Arabia in 2012. And severe acute respiratory syndrome associated coronavirus was first identified at the end of February 2003 during an outbreak that emerged in China and spread to 4 countries. Now, epidemiology. 31st December 2019, cluster of cases of pneumonia of unknown origin reported from Wuhan, China. 4 January 2020, WHO published first disease outbreak news on the new virus. 13 January, WHO announces the new virus to SARS-CoV-2 that causes COVID-19. 13 January, official confirm a case in Thailand, the first recorded case out of China. April 2, 2020, more than 1 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 worldwide. And recently I've shown you how many, 52 million. 11th March 2020, Wednesday, WHO declares COVID-19 as a pandemic. Now, containment measures taken, we all know, travel restrictions, closure of schools, intensive surveillance, air travel check, public health measure like social distancing, contact tracing and quarantine, that is testing, tracing, and treating. Personal protective equipment like masks, stay-at-home orders. Now, whose coronavirus strategy worked best? Scientists hunt most effective policies. This is of 2020 from Nature and comparing containment measures among nations by epidemiological effects of COVID-19. Let us see. No one size fits all. No one size fits all. Our institute, we are trying to do our best possible for the PP kit when we are interacting with the patients, waiting in the outpatient department, social distancing, and then training, and thereafter public awareness and taking hand washing and sanitization. Modalities for testing available are nucleic acid amplification testing, monoplex, multiplex POCT, antigen test, virus culture, sequencing, serological assess, antibody testing, and finding out CT score. Recent advances, CRISPR-Cas system, everybody is talking, RT-LAMP, biomarkers, microarray, genome sequencing, and these are the various diagnostic platforms which are available. Now let us see this. Clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats is CRISPR, becoming quite popular, is an adaptive immune system in archaea and bacteria against foreign genetic elements such as phages. Now in India, the use of indigenously developed Feluda paper strip test, which is based on CRISPR-Cas9 technology for diagnosis of SARS-CoV-2 is approved by Drugs Controller General of India, and time taken is just 45 minutes. And there you can see various methods which are the latest advancements. Now race for vaccine. 48 candidate vaccine in clinical evaluation, WHO, Pfizer and BioNTech, Sputnik from Russia, Moderna from America, and other Covaxin, AstraZeneca, Oxford COVID vaccine. Top vaccine candidates are these 5. Now, India needs 1.7 billion COVID vaccines. Some people are talking of different doses, 2 doses, 3 doses, 5 doses. And it is mentioned that India may take 4 years to vaccinate its 1.3 billion people. Now, what is the way forward? Surveillance and early diagnosis, sharing of data and knowledge, containment and mitigation, fast-track research and innovation, outreach of public health measures, tapping and preserving natural resources. This is the second slide, and I think I'm towards the end of my talk. Political and social will, increase funding in healthcare, increasing the GDP expense in the healthcare system, strengthening the healthcare delivery system, review of actions taken, global task force, and preparation of a comprehensive plan for future pandemics. Now, these are various infectious threats till 2015 and collaboration mechanism to fight against. Now, again, India, China trying to collaborate for vaccination. Similarly, other countries coming forward to help also the needy countries. So these are various pandemics which have happened. Gavi, Alliance for Vaccine Go On, the Global Outbreak Alert and Response Network, the International Health Regulations, the Pandemic Influenza Preparedness, WHO infographics. Now, optimum use of technology, artificial intelligence, COVID-19, drug repurposing, Lancet Digital Health 2020. This is a robotic, which I saw also in a TV series, which is robotic technology being used so that there's no cross infection from the paramedical staff to the patient or vice versa. Humanoid robot taking samples for COVID-19. Opportunity for international collaboration, a strategy for international cooperation in the COVID-19 pandemic era, focusing on national scientific funding data. This is also Healthcare 2020. ICC COVID-19 pandemic lessons for international research collaboration and informative exchanges. This is 30th April 2020. COVID, an opportunity to rethink global cooperation in higher education and research. This is also recent publication BMJ Global Health. With these words, I like to say, we need to work together. We need to work like in a collaborative way, as we are doing for SEO, young scientists, bright scientists who have innovative mind to come forward and find out the way to handle the pandemics current as well as in future. So with this, I say thank you, dhanyavad, and various other words which are used in my neighboring countries. Thank you for the kind listening and appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor. Well, I hope you are with us for
Yeah,
this.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Yeah.
All right, Doctor. So we're going to be moving further with young scientists' presentations. Also, I would like to request Dr. Anand Kumar from AIMS to join us.
Good evening. I'm here. Anand Mohan here. I'm here. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. So you'll be our chair for today's session. So here we'll be moving to the young scientist presentations, and I hope you all are ready for it.
Yes, please. First is.
All right, doctor.
So who is going to introduce?
Yes.
First is Yan Wong, no?
So I'll be inviting the scientists.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, the first set is going to be done by Yan Wang from Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology, China's Academy of Sciences, China. May I request him to please take over the forum site? Are you online? Yan Wang from Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology, China's Academy of Sciences, China. We're going to be waiting for 30 seconds for every presenter, if they're available. If not, then we'll be proceeding.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me here. This is Dr. Yan Wang from Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology, Chinese Academy of Sciences. It is my honor to have this opportunity to share my research with the young scientists from the SCO countries. Here is my brief introduction. My personal interest is about the drug screening, drug proposing, and drug design. Currently, I'm an associate professor as well as principal investigator in our institute. Before that, I was the postdoc fellow at the University of Minnesota. I got my PhD degree at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, majoring in biomedical sciences. You can see my OS ID here, and you can also scan this QR code and access all the papers I published before. Okay, here we go. This is the COVID-19 session. We know COVID-19 is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 and it has killed over 1 million people around the world. It is crazy. We know it is impossible to create novel drugs against this coronavirus because in this very short time, because this is a newly identified drug. So the best strategy is to find new antiviral uses from the approved drugs. Because the SARS-CoV-2 share a highly similar viral genome sequence with the SARS-CoV, suggesting that the effective treatment for SARS may also work for the COVID-19 treatment. For example, lopinavir has been proved to reduce the SARS viral loads in the patients. So the first drug came to the doctor's mind is lopinavir when we face the COVID-19. Unfortunately, in clinical trial, lopinavir failed to reduce the viral loads. You can see the left panel here. There's no significant difference between the lopinavir treatment and the control group in the viral loads. So the following question is there any possible that lopinavir cannot inhibit SARS-CoV-2 virus replication? The answer is no. You can see the right panel here. In a cell-based assay, the lopinavir significantly reduced the viral replication in cells with the IC50 at around the 25 micromolar. You can 25 micromolar IC50 is not that so potent inhibitor, but still a good inhibitor. So why lopinavir failed to reduce the viral loads in the clinical trial? We can see cartoon here. This cartoon shows that how SARS-CoV-2 get into the cell. Like other coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2 has its spike protein here, and the spike protein can direct bind to the ACE2 cell, ACE2 protein on the membrane of the human cells, and then the TMPRSS2 cell can the protein can prime the spike protein, and then the virus can get into the cell. In this way, any cells that co-express the TMPRSS2 and ACE2 should be attacked by the SARS-CoV-2. So the following question is, what kind of the cells highly express these two proteins? We use the RNA-seq data to reanalyze our this hypothesis. And in our data, we can say the 82 cells in the lung and the anthocytes in the small intestine. In these two cells, we can find the both ACE2 and TMPRSS2 are overexpression. In this way, the SARS-CoV-2 is likely to attack the human lung tissue and the small intestine, but all but the severe phenomenon was observed in the lungs. So we just focus on the lung tissue. In this way, all the antiviral drugs will directly distribute to the lung tissue. So the following question is, do these antivirals distribute to lung? We collected all the pharmacokinetics data from the publications and calculated their the tissue plasma ratio used either AUC or mean concentration. According to this table, we can see only three drugs. They are hydroxychloroquine and favipiravir. These three drugs show they got a very high concentration in the lung tissue. Other drugs failed to do this mission, and we can see three drugs said hydroxychloroquine, chloroquine, and favipiravir. All of these three drugs has been proved to accumulate in the lung, have a very high concentration in the lung tissue, and all of the three drugs have been proved to reduce the viral loads in the respiratory tract. Ritonavir also has been proved to accumulate in the lung tissue, but it didn't show any antiviral activity in the cell-based assays, so it's not surprised that ritonavir cannot reduce the viral loads in the respiratory tract. But the amifanovir has also directly distributed in the lung, and it also show relative potent inhibitory effects in the cell-based assay, but it still failed to reduce the viral loads in clinical trial. That's because even the relative concentration in the lung is high, but the absolutely concentration of this drug in the lung tissue is pretty low. That is mean the amifanovir didn't expose enough to inhibit the virus replication in the lung. And azithromycin and ribavirin all accumulate in the small intestine, but they work as the combination. I mean, the cocktail treatment has been proved to reduce the viral loads in the respiratory tract. But whether this drug, single drug, can reduce the viral loads, we don't know exactly. So I put the question mark here. Lopinavir, ritonavir, and darunavir, all these three drugs has been proved directly accumulated in the small intestine. So all of these three drugs fail to reduce the viral loads in the respiratory tract. But because the small intestine may be another target tissue of the SARS-CoV-2, maybe these three drugs can reduce the viral load in the GI tract, but we don't know because we don't have enough data and clinical data to support our hypothesis. Besides the antivirus, another possible thing we can reduce our risk to the SARS-CoV is is to downregulate the ACE2 or TMPRSS2 expression. That so the first thing come to my mind is probably we can work together and find some local daily food. Maybe this local daily food like curcumin can regulate the ACE2 or TMPRSS2 impression to reduce our risk to expose to the SARS-CoV-2. Another possible collaboration is about the application of the local complementary and alternative medicine on the antiviral research. Last, I would like to give a brief introduction of my institute. This the Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology was established by the Chinese Academy of Sciences, the Shenzhen government, and the Chinese University of Hong Kong 14 years ago. Besides the antiviral research, this institute covers multiple fields in the science, including the biomedical and the health engineering, advanced computing, and the digital engineering, biomedicine and biotechnology, advanced brain disease, synthetic biology, as well as electronic materials. And you can see we have a wide collaboration with international institutes or universities. In our network, you can also you can also see some SEO countries have already in our network. So you're very welcome to visit our website and look for the potential collaborators. Okay, that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Doctor. But meanwhile, I would like to introduce our chair, Dr. Anand Mohan. He's a professor and head of the Department of Pulmonary Critical Care and Sleep Medicine at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, India. He is the recipient of the UK Commonwealth Fellowship in Chest Medicine and Interventional Pulmonology in 2008 and 2009. He is a chief investigator and co-investigator of several international collaborative projects as well. Well, he has more than 250 international and national publications in peer-reviewed journals. He has won several awards related to his published work at national and international conferences. He is also fellow at the Royal College of Physicians, London, member of the National Academy of Medical Sciences and European Respiratory Society. Welcome, sir. So before we move on to next set, I would like to tell both of our chair to take the charge of the session. You can also conduct Q&A right after the presentation's been done.
Okay, Dr. Mehdirata, would you like to any questions? So can we take questions now or at the end of?
So the presentation which we'll be doing next, in that case, you can just start off with the Q&A session right after the presentation. So I think I'll be calling the next young scientist to have the presentation part done. Okay. So yes, can we have Navneet Sharma, Dr. Navneet Sharma, Indian Institute of Technology, India, to take the forum, please?
Yeah, please.
All right, so Dr. Navneet Sharma is going to take over the forum for the next presentation.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Navneet Sharma and I am working as a scientist at Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. And my particularly work is focused on the management of CVRN emergencies, the medical management of CVRN emergencies, and the formulations and the devices which is required for the management of the CVRN. So coming on the acronym of CVRN, this stands for the chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear defense. When we talk about the chemical, it involves the toxic release and liberation of chemicals, emission of the gases, oil spills, as well as the management of toxic industrial chemicals and toxic industrial materials. Also, the involvement of the strategies to conduct the decontamination of the incidents involving toxic chemical wastes Also it is including the management and decontamination of chemical warfare agent. When we talk about the biological, it includes the biological waste materials, contamination from the biological waste materials, agroterrorism, bioterrorism, biosecurity, including biowarfare agents or liberation of organisms leading to infectious diseases. Apart from that, the management of epidemics and the pandemics. When we comes on the N aspect of the CBRN, it includes the radiological and nuclear, and it includes the nuclear holocaust, such as seen in the case of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, as well as the Fukushima Daiichi disaster, and also the accidental spillage and the contamination of the radioactive materials in the nuclear medicine facilities. So after my research work, that is in PhD, my research is particularly focused on the decontamination of these hazardous CBRN agents. So with respect to the management of the viral contamination, I had divided my whole research contribution into the 3 parts. The first one I had divided, that is the development of the mechanical devices for the mitigation of the CBRN emergencies. Another one is the R&D products, which I had developed with the help of the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO in mass. And particularly these developments includes the dermal decontamination wipes, which includes the Ramacon, which is a self-radioactive decon wipe. Another one is a NubDecon, which is a universal CBRN decon body wipe. Apart from that, I had developed 2 formulations. That is, first one is a liquid solution, which is microbe decon, and it is a viral decon spray. Another one is a paint, which is known as microbe coat, and this is an antiviral paint, or we can say that viral resistant paint. Apart from that, I was involved with the help of DRDO in the development of the training modules. There are 7 training modules which I had developed. Apart from that, I had developed the CBRN awareness manuals, that is demystifying awareness manual, which includes the management of the Zika and Ebola viruses, as well as I had also developed a CBRN glossaries and do's and don'ts in case of the management of CBRN emergencies. So first, coming on my first mitigation asset, that is which I had developed, and this is a indigenously developed plasma cluster-based quadra shield portable green decontamination conveyor station. This particular station is just like kind of, we can say that, conveyor belts which are available in the airports, railways, and other seaports and other places where the civilian movement is quite high. And this particular decontamination station is based on plasma cluster technique, and it is capable. The state of art of this decontamination station is that of the commonly decontamination stations, on the contaminated materials got decontaminated. But in case of this particular unique developed product, that is Coke Decon, it is capable to decontaminate not only the outer surfaces of the contaminated material, but also the internal pockets and cavities of the contaminated article. This is UV-free, ozone-free, harmful chemical-free, green decontamination station. It is capable to decontaminate the article within the 2 minutes after the passing through this machine, and a one-time investment is there with respect to this machine. And we had filed a patent of this particular decontamination station, and subsequently we had transferred the technology to one of our technology partner at Faridabad. So coming on another one, the previous machine which I had shown you is the particularly dedicated for the decontamination of the biological burden, that is bacteria, virus, and fungi. This particular machine, it is in the form of a closet, and this particular machine is capable to decontaminate the hazardous chemical, biological, radiological, all the 3 contaminants within a single time duration. And it also, as we had seen, in case after the outbreak, there is a lot of a burden of the waste PPEs. A lot of PPEs was there which were used, and there is the problem of the management of the bio waste of those PPEs. So this single station is capable to decontaminate 10 to 25 PPEs at a single time, and within a short duration of 5 minutes. And this particular station is also capable to decontaminate the hazardous chemical and radiological agents. This single station is lightweight, compact, customizable, and easy to move. We had filed a patent of this station, and subsequently the technology had been transferred to the SMS Hydrotech, and Indian Army is currently using these both stations with them. So coming on the pharmaceutical formulations, which I had developed during my PhD, this particular decontamination wipe is known as Remicon Decon wipe. And this decontaminated wipe enables almost complete and fast removal of the radio contaminant from the body surfaces. This particular wipe is for the radiological decontamination of the radio contaminants, and it also provides initial cleansing of the affected area on the skin of the victims of the NREs. We had filed a patent of this wipe, and subsequently we had transferred the technology to the Novel Tissues Mesur, and now nowadays the NATO forces and as well as Indian Army is using this decontamination wipe in their decontamination gears. After my PhD, I got a project from Department of Science and Technology as a principal investigator at the IIT Delhi. And in that project, I had broadened the scope of my decon wipe. And I had developed a single wipe which is not only capable to decontaminate the radioisotope from the skin, but this particular wipe, which is known as NUB decon, is capable to decontaminate the chemical as well as biological contaminant along with the radiological. So we had also filed a patent of this wipe, and currently this NUB decon is available with the Army and the other disaster management agencies as a universal decontamination wipe. And we had also filed a patent, and subsequently we had transferred the technology of this particular decon wipe. So the first quarter of this year had focused me to divert my research towards the development of the decontamination formulations from the inanimated surfaces with respect to the viral agents. So we got a small grant from SERB DST and at the beginning of this year, and under that grant, the task which we had given to us is to develop the decontamination formulations from the inanimated surfaces. So I had developed a solution which is a spray, and this spray is a multi-purpose product which is designed to portray long-term high antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal efficacy. Once you spray this solution on a surface, it will provide viral resistance up to 6 months, and also it is effective against various pathogens. We had also tested it against the COVID-19, and we get quite good results. And this particular, we are in the process of the patent filing of this particular product, and Reckitt Benckiser had shown the interest in our technology, and soon this product will be in the market. Apart from that, in the same project, we have developed another product. This is polyurethane based conductive and non-conductive antiviral coating material. That is, we can say that this is a paint. And the silent features of the developed paint is that it once coated on a surface, it will provide a long-term microbial resistant up to the 12 months. So the two variations of this paint are available in the market. And the first one is a conductive and another one is a non-conductive. In case of conductive, we will pass a small amount of electricity that is less than 2 microampere through a surface, and it will lead to the complete elimination of the viral load from the particular surface. So coming on the knowledge management assets, which I had developed with the help of the DRDO, that is Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, along with Defense Research and Development Organization. I had developed with respect to management of biological disasters such as Ebola, Zika, toxins, and contagion. These awareness manuals also include from the I developed this with the DRDO. I had also developed training modules for the management of severe and emergencies, and these training modules are particularly dedicated to the medical doctors, practitioners, quick first responders during severe and scenarios. And also I was involved in the development of severe and training materials with the NDMA, and among which the most significant is the development of the severe and casualty management at the hospital site awareness manual. And I had also developed a severe and glossary. So these all are the knowledge management assets which were developed by me. So coming on the possible collaborations with the SCO nations and my particular area of interest. So first of all, I am interested to collaborate on the mitigation and decontamination of the hazardous chemical, biological, and radiological agents. And I am also interested particularly in the management of the combat casualty wounds. In case of CCM wounds, or we can say that combat casualty wounds, the quite common is the stab wound and the bullet wounds. A lot of the formulations are available in the market with respect to the wound healing, but there are very less formulations which are available with respect to the wound sealing. And I am particularly interested to develop the formulations which are instant wound sealing formulations. And we are having quite good moieties with us also. And currently, I'm working with the Defense Research and Development Organization, the development of wound sealing agent. I'm also interested to collaborate on the formulations which are particularly specific for the healing of the gamma radiation induced wounds. And I developed one product which is particularly dedicated for the gamma radiation induced wound healing. So I'm also interested for the have a collaboration on the combat casualty wound management. I'm also interested to have a collaboration on the decorporation formulations, that is the decontamination from the internal organs, because what I had seen, all those products are particularly dedicated for the decontamination from the outside skin or from the topical decontamination. But I am also interested in case of the development of the radioactive decorporation formulation, which are capable to remove or eliminate these hazardous radioactive material from the inside of the body of the victims. And our group in Department of Textile and Fiber Engineering also involved in the development of lightweight CVRN clothing, as it has been observed in case of the CVRN emergencies, particularly with the doctors. They are quite facing difficulties when they wear the heavyweight NVC suits. This one thing which was come in our concern. Yeah, sir, please.
Sorry to interrupt. I think can you quickly summarize and wrap up, because
yeah,
I think time is up.
Fine. Thank you, sir. So these all are collaboration which I am interested to collaborate. Apart than that, I am also interested on the joint workshops and the joint training programs for the management of CVR and emergencies, which involve the disaster management agencies, medical first responder, doctors, and paramedics from the different states. So with the help of DRDO, we are also already involved in all these training and medical management of these CVR and emergencies. So this is a small glimpse of the product developed by the by Indian Institute of Technology in the first quarter of this pandemic. So there is a more affordable, low-cost COVID-19 test kit was developed by IIT Delhi. Also, the bioinformatics department had developed online prediction software, that is Prakriti, and we had also developed the low-cost reusable PPE kits. So thanks a lot, and my particularly interest in the new drug delivery systems, risk management and assessment, and also in the networking in case of severe and threat mitigation. So any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Navneet Sharma. Can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Yeah, please.
Thank you for the tremendous effort which you have made in during your tenure at IIT Delhi and with DRDO and on CBRN emergencies. Really appreciable, but we can take up questions if there are any from the audience. Any questions from the audience?
Audience can even put something in the chat box if they want, and we'll read it out.
Yes.
So we do have few questions.
And you can stay back. Maybe in the end we have some questions we'll take up at that time.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir. Definitely, I will.
So are there any questions on the chat box or no?
So we have live audience and we have a question.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
One question I have is regarding this Faluda kit. Actually, you have mentioned that this kit is used for rapid detection of COVID test. So what all the steps that we need to do using this kit?
Particularly with respect to this kit, actually one thing I want to show, this kit has been
Sorry, sir, we could not able to hear.
I have highlighted this. You see, this has been approved by DCGI. In my talk also I covered. Yeah, please carry on, Navneet.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, this particular kit had been developed by another group, and that Faluda kit was developed by Kusma School of Life Sciences, that is Professor Aditya Mittal group. So actually, I don't have any basic knowledge of that particular kit, how they had developed, because I was not involved in the development of that Faluda kit. So it will be better if you draw with Professor Mittal. That will be fine. If you have any question respected to my this all work, so that will be welcome.
One more question we have, sir. That is regarding the CBR decon.
Yeah.
So what is the basic
please.
principle used to kill the viral particle using the CBR decon?
Yeah, CVR and decon. That is that viral decontamination station. I think so. You are asking about that. So there is one concept in case of plasma physics. Uh, as you had seen, a lot of instruments available which involve the ozone, like two plates were there. They condense the air between those plates and create the ozone gas, right? But in case of plasma technique, what we had used, the basic principle behind it is the use of the plasma technique, plasma cluster technique. We had taken two plates, we had condensed the air inside that plate, and subsequently we had kept one magnet, high sharp magnet between those plates. And those magnets are capable to diverge that ions instantly, and with the help of the X-ray, because X-ray was also involved inside that scanning machine. So with the combination of X-ray, those plasma ions are capable to penetrate the particularly substance. Suppose a material, suppose a briefcase is there or a bag is there, and you pass a bag throughout that particular station, it is capable to penetrate all those things, and it is capable to decontaminate from the inside. So basic principle is the plasma cluster based technique which was involved there.
Okay, like in how much time the complete viral particle can be removed?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. And one more question, sir. You have mentioned that on a membrane you will be passing electricity for the
Between
complete.
between two plates, not from membrane.
Not
Look,
this one. The next
okay.
one.
Next one.
In your
Okay, fine.
presentation, you
Please
have
go
showed.
ahead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that in that you will be passing the electricity. So by passing the electricity for 2 minutes, right? That is.
No, you are asking about that paint, that Coke Decon paint you are asking about.
Yes.
That another paint was there.
Yes, yes. For that you will be passing 2 microamperes electricity, right?
Yeah.
So in
please.
with that electricity, whether the complete viral is removed or the particles, I mean the viral will be disintegrated into the particles.
Yeah, actually, what concept is there? When you pass out a small amount of electricity, that is 2 microampere, through that particularly surface on which that particular plate was coated. So there is the denaturation, its structure. Just like in case of the soap, when you wash your hands, so there is the external denaturation of the external structure or the lipid surface of that particular virus. So same had been seen in case of this paint also. When a viral load was there, if you pass through electricity, so the whole lipid structure or the spike protein will get denatured, and the virus was lethal and it is not capable to cause any harm. So that particular concept was there.
Okay. And
actually, that I just want to explain it a bit more. You had heard about van der Waal forces, right?
Yes.
And Venn diagram generator. You had heard about that, na? Venn diagram generator. In case of schools and in case of scientific fairs, there is a sphere was there. The people, what they do, they put their hands over that sphere and they have some charge, electricity charge pass through them.
Okay.
During 2019, Massachusetts in MIT, there was a group which was involved with us in the development of these charged particles to condense these charged particles to mitigate the viral load. So I had take the concept from there, that basic Van de Graaff generator, and through passing charge, what we had observed using 10 electron microscopy, there is a denaturation in the viral structure, that is lipid spike protein. So that is what we had seen when we passed a small amount of electricity, that is 2 microampere, through that particular surface on which the viral contamination load was there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much.
Any questions, please?
Okay, so we are going to move on to the next presentation, doctors. That's going to be by Anamika Singh, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Gorakhpur University, Gorakhpur, India. Can we have Dr. Anamika Singh near podium, please? Okay, so we have Ms. Anamika with us. She'll be taking you through the next session.
Good evening, everybody. Myself, Anamika Singh. I'll be presenting my idea on the topic graphene in the fight against pandemics. Now, the role of nanotechnology is becoming prominent over the passing years. We all know the nanomaterials has found its way in almost every aspect of technology. My first interaction with graphene was during a summer internship 5 months before in the 2D materials and its applications. So just a little bit about 2D materials, that if only one dimension of a 3D material is nano-sized, it would be a 2D material. And they're also called van der Waals heterostructures because they attract each layer, through weak van der Waals forces. Now, graphene is the first 2D material. It was isolated from graphite in 2004 by Andre Geim and Konstantin Novoselov at the University of Manchester. They were awarded Nobel Prize in 2010. So the figure one is the base Scotch tape method, which is used in the laboratory for the preparation of graphene, which we can discuss later. Now, here I'm going to talk about the structure of graphene, which holds a lots of possibilities for implementation in the pandemic situation. Now, the structure of graphene, you can see, sorry, that it is a covalently bonded hexagonal lattice of carbon atoms. It is sp2 hybridization between 1s and 2p orbitals, leading to a trigonal planar structure. Now, this structure makes it even better conductor of electricity than superconductors. Now, sheets of graphene are such closely knit that they can work like atomic nets. Even like for graphene, every atom is accessible from both the side. See, the graphene is like one layer thing, like 0.14 nanometer. So the interaction from other molecule is large. Now in figure 2, we can see here that carbon atoms are bonded to only three other atoms, although they have ability to bond to a fourth atom. Now, this property, along with tensile strength and high surface to volume ratio, makes the graphene a very good candidate for a composite material. Now, these are various applications of graphene, which graphene has found its way in almost all these applications, like electronics at MIT. At MIT only, they have developed very faster and smaller chips. In the energy industry, they are developing graphene batteries. For food industry, they are using graphene in the food security, sports, composites, biomedical application. Basically, this slide is for you all to convince you all that graphene will not be a fruitless effort if used. Now, the bigger question here is, can graphene participate in the fight against pandemics? Now, in a pandemic, we need the basic things: development of effective antiviral disinfectant and surface coatings, designing of infection-safe personal PPEs, development of high sensitivity and rapid diagnostic measures, and of course, development of new drugs and vaccines. Now, let's see what graphene has to offer. Graphene can give a solution for one or two things. Now, it is completely transparent, transmits about 97% of light. It is good conductor of heat, even better than silver and copper. And it can form mesh-like structures. And if tiny holes can be made into graphene, it can work like a physical sieve. It exhibits strong adsorptive capability. Now, here what I have seen that most of the masks or the PPE kits are not reusable. They are once used and then they have to be either thrown away or incinerated, which is not feasible for common people, which is not very much feasible for common people. So what my idea is that, what if we can coat graphene over the surface of the mask or the PPE kits? Okay, now graphene, so for the sterilization purpose, if we normally, if we keep any material in the sun, it goes around 50, in the UV rays, it goes around 50 degrees Celsius. The temperature of that material or that surface can go around 50 degrees Celsius. But most of the virus and bacteria thrive at 4 to 60 degrees Celsius. So, but graphene has 97% to 98% of transmission. Okay, so it can raise the temperature to approximately 70 degrees Celsius for even the exposure for 2 to 3 minutes. Now, also the other problem the frontline health workers are facing are that these PPE kits are not very well ventilated. They are working in severe heat conditions. Okay, now graphene being a best conductor of heat, and So there can be chances that the ventilation of the PPE kits with a coating of graphene can be done. Now here, pure graphene is hydrophobic material and has no appreciable solubility in most solvent. So what if someone, if I'm wearing a graphene coated mask and someone sneezes on me, or by any chance I'm coming in contact with a contaminated droplet, so the graphene can, so something like this, the droplets will, that contaminated droplets will form over that graphene coating and it can just roll down. Like the surface without graphene will be something like this at the present times, but with graphene coating, it becomes like this. Now, the one challenge here it is that every atom is accessible from both the sides. So there is more interaction with surrounding molecules. Now, theoretically, I'm thinking that maybe there are chances that microbes getting trapped on the graphene surface. Now here the bigger challenge is this all is theoretical work. Experimental work has not been done yet because my university, they have not started with a 2D materials and applications laboratory. So of course, in the words of Richard Feynman, no matter how good your theory is, if it doesn't work with experiments, it's wrong. So of course, I would require an opportunity to go through these lab work. Now, it is very easy also because the production of graphene, the Scotch tape method, it is used in the most of the laboratories and for basic scientific research. It is very reliable and easy to do. Now, for the large scale, there is chemical deposition method, which is also very not very costly. Now, in conclusion, I would like to say that graphene can be synthesized very easily. It has to be prepared from graphite only for basic scientific research. So we can do. Now it is low cost. Other material, it is very low cost compared to the other materials which we have to offer, and non-toxic, of course. So the face mask and PPE suits will become reusable. Now here I am focusing on reusable part because suppose the face shields and everything, it costs to around $7 to $8. So for rich people, you can say that it is very easy. They can do it for one time use and throw thing they can do. But what about the more than 50% of population, which are the lower class and middle class people of most of the SCO nations? What about them? They cannot afford a $7 to $8 face shield for that too for one time use. So if we are use graphene in some face masks and the BPs, they will it will become reusable. And of course, reusable, then it will be less pollution. And a ventilation of that, as discussed, of the PP kits will be more ventilated. These are the several references for through which I have derived my theory. Now, areas of interest, I'll be completing my master's in physics next month, and I'm highly motivated to do research in nanotechnology, especially graphene projects related to graphene. Now, Department of Physics has several funded projects by DST, UGC, and ISRO, and on behalf of university, they are ready to collaborate, and these are the various projects running in my department. They don't have right now currently a project for 2D materials. So now this about institute. Now DDU Gorakhpur University is located in the holy city of Gorakhpur, UP, and it inherits the spiritual and philosophical legacy of Buddha. Now it has 6 faculties: agriculture, arts, commerce, education, law, science, comprising of 29 departments. And Department of Physics is a leading department of university with 22 faculty members actively engaged in teaching and research. It conducts UG, PG, and PhD programs, and there are 5 specialization minors. My specialization was solid state physics, and there are several DST UGC funded projects in the field of biotech chemistry also. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Anamika Singh, for a good presentation, especially your concept to help people in the low and middle income countries with a nanotechnology of graphene. So it's open for questions. If there is any question, it's open. Any question from the audience on the floor or through the chat box? Dr. Anand Mohan, will you like to make some comment on that? Because this is pertaining to the face mask, shield, and PP kits, protective kits for the, yeah.
Just one or two small general comments. I think a very good presentation, a good concept also, and if it has a good translational value, it can really help out in for the people who are working out there on the field and in the wards. Just one small thing. So you say that in a face shield, the face shield can be made using this material. Is that what you are proposing, or it has to be incorporated into the face shield in
No,
front?
layering, one layer,
Layer.
that the top layer can be
All right.
done so that if the contaminated droplet is coming on the surface, it just rolls off.
All right.
But I understood, Anand Mohan, it is coating on the face shield, on the front. Yeah.
It is not going to make any difference in the weight or anything like that. It's a very obviously just a
Very
simple
light,
coating.
yeah.
Yes, sir. It is a transparent material, so also the visibility will also not very much.
Has some work been done to show that how quickly you have shown that it is a kind of a virus free and it can be cleaned? So what are the ways to then kind of it doesn't stick at all? Is that what it means? So it doesn't need
Yes, sir. In the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, they have done a research and they did, but they made something super hydrophobic surface, because as I mentioned that it is the graphene layer is accessible, very thin, and it is accessible from molecules. So they had to make it super hydrophobic. So they tested for a bacteria which they had which it was successful, what I read from their research paper, and they will be soon testing for SARS-CoV-2.
Yeah, because what I wanted to ask was that how are we sure that there is no semblance of virus on that coating? Has somebody tested that and made sure?
No, sir. From my side, no experimental work has been done.
Are you proposing to do something to that effect in your work?
Of course, I'm a master's student, so I'm looking for a project pertaining to graphene where I can work like a project assistant type kind of job for graphene.
But it is not something that can be incorporated in fabric, can it be?
Fabric.
Cloth.
From my reading, I have done just the lots of research and through reading and all. They have made a fabric, trying to make a fabric of graphene. I saw the video where they have incorporated graphene in fabric.
All right, thank you.
I think it is in stage of experimental translation. Yeah, thank you so much, Anamika, for the good presentation. I hope your dream come true.
Thank you, sir.
Of transition into clinical applications. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Anamika. Well, moving on to the next presentation, the Young Scientist presentation. We are having Mr. Vishnu Jain with us. He's a Junior Embedded System Engineer, AMMACHI Labs, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapretam, Amritapuri, India.
Hello, everyone. I hope I am audible.
Yes, you are, Vishnu.
Yeah, okay. So you can see my screen. So I'm a Junior Embedded Systems Engineer at AMMACHI Labs, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham in India. And I'm presenting my work on the design and development of an open source, low cost powered air purifying respirator, that is a PAPR, for frontline medical workers for COVID-19 response. So before diving deep inside, let us look at some problems that this global pandemic has brought to the forefront. So even before the pandemic hit, there was a shortage of human resources for health in developing countries like India, and the lockdowns caused the shortage of good quality PPEs all over the world. Therefore, reusability of the PPEs by health workers without compromising infection control guidelines became extremely important in this battle. And as a nation, we needed to build our self-reliance in health. Regular PPEs brought up issues such as discomfort, heat buildup, interference with breathing, and other difficulties in extended usage. And especially with N95 masks, people had to be trained in wearing procedures and fit tested to ensure a leak-proof seal. And these masks could only provide up to 95% of filtering efficiency against the viruses. So we took up the task of designing a PAPR which is safer, reusable, and more comfortable to the user, providing a fresh air supply into the PPE. In our design, we use an H14 grade HEPA filter that provides almost 99.99% of filtering efficiency at a low cost. We have chosen a loose fitting PAPR so that fit testing procedures can be avoided and is also comfortable for people of all build types. Even though PAPRs are already commercially available, they have to be imported and the costs for these are exorbitant. Our aim was to create an alternative economic solution. We iterated and designed 3 different prototypes before we finalized our design. In each of the iterations, we conducted tests for noise, battery endurance, airflow, and static pressure. We worked closely with the doctors from Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences and incorporated their feedback in each of the iterations. We have made design trade-offs when required. For example, even though HME filters are cheaper and more commonly used in breathing circuits, they come in only at small sizes and hence put severe constraints on the airflow. Also, we were not able to find a manufacturer in India who could custom design an HME filter in larger sizes. So, we chose a HEPA filter. Our PAPR also meets the guidelines and standards set by National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, that is NIOSH, and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, that is OSHA. Our research work in the design and development of this PAPR prototypes has been accepted for presentation at the IEEE R10 Humanitarian Technology Conference in Malaysia the next month. So these pictures show you the initial 3 prototypes that we made. The process of designing and building these prototypes gave us valuable lessons, such as for more airflow than 6 CFM, we needed a bigger pipe than a standard medical pipe of 2 centimeter diameter. And meeting the minimum requirement of 6 CFM is not actually comfortable enough in a humid country like India. It is extremely hard to design a head-mounted fan setup to be noise-free and stable without vibrations. PAPRs in hospital environment and indoors need to have a lesser noise level than the NIOSH recommended standards of less than 85 dB. Here are some of the design challenges that we faced and resolved despite the lockdown restrictions. So the blowers with higher power rating provides more air supply, but are also noisier. And the blade design of a blower is a key determinant factor of the noise level. Adding filters only increases the noise levels. During the pandemic, for quick turnaround times, custom designing blower was not an option. Therefore, we needed to source them from the available ones in the market. The weight of the PAPR system had to stay under 1.5 kilogram for a comfortable wear. So this posed constraints on the battery selection. For the user to feel the air on their face and be comfortable, a balance between the volume of airflow and the velocity of airflow is needed. This required a careful pipe selection of material that can withstand repeated cycles of disinfection. To keep the costs low, we chose not to 3D print a case for the whole blower to attach the HEPA filter. Instead, we attached the filter directly to the blower inlet with an air leak-proof mechanism. The connectors on the breather tubes had to be made leak-proof as well as to prevent any static pressure loss in the tubing. A good mechanism was needed to hold the breather tube over the user's head to maintain a proper air supply. Finally, the battery needed a hard casing with a battery management system and charge level indicator to ensure safety while using and charging and to prevent accidents due to thermal runaways. Our final design meets and exceeds all performance standards set by NIOSH while maintaining the noise level well under 68 decibels. The lithium-ion battery can power the blower for more than 10 hours of continuous operation. These are some of the results of the battery endurance test and the airflow tests that we conducted for both HME and HEPA filters. For HEPA filters, the battery lasts for more than 10 hours, consistently providing above level CFM. Also, in their testings, the doctors were very happy with every aspect of the final prototype, including ergonomics, noise level, and the battery life. So these are some of our areas of interest and how we see the way ahead. So we are in the process of making our design open source and publicly available. We also look forward to working with the SCO member nations to conduct further research studies and evaluate the PAPR design in a wider diaspora. So these research findings could be used for further design refinements. Partner with SCO member countries to come up with design variations that allow for sourcing of the components from within the member nations. So This could make every nation self-reliant for their own infection control needs. Right now, the most critical component of the design, the blower, even though originally made in China, is only available from the US, and this increases the cost. Form partnerships with SEO members to productize the design and make it market ready. Also, design and develop multimedia training content on infection control training. I'll end my presentation with a brief about Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. We are a multi-campus, multidisciplinary institute of eminence, and we wholeheartedly embrace the mission towards solving globally recognized scientific and societal challenges, including environment, sustainable development, and health, through meaningful collaborations with world-class universities and innovative approaches. Amrita is ranked as the fourth best private university in India in Times Magazine, Times Higher Education, World Ranks. We are proud to have two UNESCO chairs, namely UNESCO Chair in Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment and the UNESCO Chair in Experiential Learning for Sustainable Innovation and Development. We are proud to host over 30 centers of excellence in research, over 250 funded research projects, and 5 billion rupees in research funding. The transdisciplinary research that we pursue is rooted in compassion. I conclude with a quote from our Chancellor, Sri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, that if we could transform compassion from a mere word into a path of action, we would be able to solve most of the world's problems. At Amrita, we strongly believe that culmination of all the research should be for societal impact. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, Vishnu. Can you stop sharing your screen? Yeah, thank you so much. Again, a good effort to bring about a paper which suits most of the countries in SCO, as well as the temperature and environment variation. I think this is more particular to Dr. Anand Mohan because he's a pulmonologist. So Dr. Anand Mohan, any comments you would like to make, especially on paper?
Yeah, again, I think a very innovative idea and a good effort, something which has again, a big potential, if it works, a big potential to markedly improve the kind of working pattern and the working atmosphere of the people who are wearing the PPEs. So that is something, it has good far-reaching implications, and if it really works well, and if it can be shown to have that kind of effect that has been shown here on a larger scale, and I think it would be a very good translational, add a lot of translational value, definitely not. Absolutely.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, we leave to MC for any question answer to any question from the floor or the chat box. Vishnu, can you mute yourself? There is a humming sound coming on your background. Yeah, thank you. You are not audible.
Any questions from the live audience? So I think we are pretty much clear, and we don't have any queries further. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the end. Thank you so much to all the presenters and the chairs as well for the informative session on COVID-19 and other emerging pandemics. I request the chairs and the presenters to be please available as tomorrow as well for the continuation of the session and networking. With this, we arrive at the end of the day 3, ladies and gentlemen. We will meet tomorrow at 10:30 Indian Standard Time to continue Young Scientist presentation starting with Dr. P. Anton from Southern Federal University, Russia. The presentations will be followed by a networking session at the same time and moderated by Dr. Sonu Gandhi, Scientist F and IAB, Hyderabad, India. Also, I would like to convey that the participant program schedule is likely to change as some presenters from Pakistan would join us to share their research. So please keep yourself updated by following SCO website. That's all for today. Thank you so much for being with us till day 3. We'll be going to be meeting day 4 sharp at 10:30 tomorrow. Thank you so much.